met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Auto Club Speedway is the premier motorsports facility in Southern California, built on the site of the former Kaiser Steel Mill near Fontana in 1996-1997 at a cost of $100 million. The track has 84,000 permanent seats and is home to a NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series race each spring. Constructed by Penske Corporation as a clone of Michigan Speedway, the track was originally known as California Speedway. It was later purchased by ISC, which subsequently sold its naming rights to the Automobile Club of Southern California in 2008. In addition to a high bank oval, Auto Club Speedway features several road course configurations which have been used for sports car and motorcycle races, as well as an infield track used for testing purposes. Given its proximity to Hollywood, the track has also appeared in scores of movies, television shows, and commercials. But tonight, it's the Lonestar Racing Cup Series Westside 250, and it's coming up next on HBR TV. Take a look at the race info for tonight. Again, 125 laps around this 2-mile intermediate oval, 250 miles, 78-degree air temperature, 55% humidity, track temp 114. maybe starting to fall. We shall see. Either way, it's going to be a fun one here tonight with these next-gen Cup Series cars. Practice just about wrapped up here from Fontana, California. Let's go down trackside here and see where everybody's stacking up. Right now, Drew Blaze fastest. And Chris Gones. PJ Cox. It says Priest, but that's not accurate. We'll have to get that straightened out here. Maybe refresh this overlay here. Is qualifying just about ready to get underway. Watch Nick Kolakowski pulling out onto the racetrack. Nick out of Wells, Maine. Kolakowski back to start finish here, takes the green flag for lap number 1. Two laps with a 5-minute cap in qualifying. Lap 1 in the books for Kolakowski, 41.427 goes P2. Kohik fastest thus far, 41.41 for the 00. Derek Welch runs P3 of 41.58. Tommy Kohik out of turn 4 here. See what lap 2 gives him. Meanwhile, the 24, Jason Blaney, goes to the top, 41.19. Kohik second lap, not faster. Third fast, that is, 41.197. It was a bit quicker, but he lost some time there. Right now, the top 4 drivers all with the same lap time of 41.19. Very interesting. Darrell Larson, his first lap of 41.51. Larson down in through turns 3 and 4. 2 minutes remain in the session. Right now, Jason Blaney top of the board. Chris Klein goes P2, 41.05. Blaney picked up his time, his first driver and only driver below 41 seconds, of 40.99. 41.26 for the second lap for Larson. Justin Johnson on the track. .41.31 the first time by. The second lap for Justin Johnson to see if he can move himself up further in the top 10. Sits there in the 10th spot. 41.286 for the 10X. Matt Sisler now on the track, finishing up his second lap, already into turns 3 and 4. Ran a 41.096 the first time by. 5th fast thus far. Let's see if he can pick it up. Real deal Corey Deal, though, meanwhile, he's gone P1, faster than Blaney by about half a tenth. 40.94 for the 9. Sisler across the stripe again. He moves up P1, 40.934 for the number 93 of Matt Sisler. Just about 20 seconds remaining in the session. Don't know that anybody else has an opportunity here to top that time. Sisler with a good lap. Edging out Corey Deal by just 1/100th of a second. Few drivers opting not to take a time. We'll get to them here in just a moment, but it's already time here for our starting grid, so let's get to it. On the pole position with a lap time of 40.934 seconds, blistering lap, Matt Sisler takes the pole position. Corey Deal's going to start to the outside, 14 1/1000ths shy of taking that top spot. Second row is going to be Jason Blaney, the number 24. Chris Klein's going to roll from P4. Fifth starter is the 28 of Chris Gones with Right Turn Racing. Keep an eye on the 28. He's going to be stout here tonight. PJ Cox starts from the 6th position. Tommy Kohik, the 00, he'll roll off from P7. Nick Kolakowski, the number 22 with Team Tracks, he'll start 8th. Darrell Larson in the 5, he'll start 9th. Justin Johnson, we saw there late, going to start with his number, P10. We're the number 10. Justin Johnson with Lonestar Racing, of course, one of the admins here in the series. Ken Couch in the 08, he's going to start in the 11th spot. Sean Roberts, the Shenandoah Shine, number 66, he's going to start from P12. 13th starter, it's the 01 of Derek Welch. 14th belongs to Mark Mitchell in the 07. Dane Lloyd, the 09, starts 15th. Drew Blaze starting in the 16th spot. Not sure, he's probably got a win penalty to serve here. Didn't expect to see him that far in the back tonight. Don't expect him to be there too long. Jonathan Arden's going to start 17th. Brandon Domain, 18th. And last but not least, it's the 054 of Jonathan Byram, starting in the 19th position. It's your starting grid for the Westside 250 LSR Cup Series. Getting ready to go green here in just a few moments. Field just now leaving pit lane. $125 laps, the race distance again here tonight. Going to be a fun one to watch. These intermediate speedways with this next-gen Cup car have really put on a show as of late. Michigan Speedway tends to be pretty good. This is kind of like a carbon copy of it, except a West Coast edition instead of the Irish Hills. We've got, let's see, Ash 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, baby, it's sizzle time. I don't know what that means, but we'll take it. Derek Welch may not be here for the full race distance. He's battling some migraine headaches, so we'll see what happens there with Derek. So Matt Sisler is going to lead him to the green flag here. Corey Deal to the outside. Then it'll be Jason Blaney and Chris Gones. It appears that, or maybe Chris Klein. Klein's got to get moved up into that second row. He's hanging back just a bit. Pace car is off.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. Barney's waving it. We're underway from California Auto Club Speedway. Westside 250 is green. Lap 1 in the books. We've already got a battle for the lead at the stripe. Sisler's going to get lap 1 led, but Blaney on the charge. Big run out of turn 4, drops it to the inside, battling for the top spot already here at Fontana. Blaney with a nose out in front, not enough to clear. Sisler slides up the racetrack, almost some contact. They might have rubbed doors, don't know for sure, but they get away clean. Blaney tucks back in behind Sisler as they run down the back straightaway. Lap 2 in the book. Sisler leads it as well. Blaney right there off the back bumper of the 93. Let's ride on board with Jason Blaney. You hear Blaney playing with the throttle quite a bit there, just trying to get that car to rotate. Gets a run on a 4, back to the inside once again. See if Blaney can make it pay this time. He's still not quite clear, but down into turn 1, he's going to slide up the racetrack. Maybe a crossover coming from Sisler. While Chris Goins and PJ Cox a part of this battle as well, starting to come into play. Corey Deal, who's your outside front row starter, has slipped back into the 5th spot, but again, trying to save some tire here for the rest of this race. No need to push too hard. It's too early. A long race distance here, 250 miles to be exact. Drivers with 3 sets of extra tires over the wall for when the time comes. Dane Lloyd looks like he had an issue out of turn 2 for a moment. Did not hit anything, but lost a lot of track position. We were trying to find him there, but looks like Brandon Domain, Jonathan Byram, neither driver took the green flag, so now we're left with 17 cars to run this race. Drew Blaze, however, at the back of the pack. Certainly win penalties in play here in the Lone Star Racing Cup Series. I think Blaze actually needed to start from pit lane tonight. That's why he is so far back. Tough part is it's a track that's kind of draft dependent. You kind of need to be in that group. The problem is LSR has been kind of known for running caution free here as of late, or at least minimal cautions. Blaze is certainly going to need the benefit of a yellow flag here to get caught back up. Watch some other battles throughout the field here. For the 9th position, Tommy Kohik just ahead of Derek Welch. Welch to the outside of Chris Klein. Both these drivers with NTG. Klein with Martin Sports delivery on board that number 51 machine. Kohik maintaining that 9th spot, at least for the time being, with Derek Welch taking a look to the inside. Oh, almost some contact there between Kohik and Welch. Welch dives it down to the bottom, takes the spot for now. Welch to P9, Kohik back to the 10th spot. Justin Johnson going to be next on the list here for Derek Welch. And Derek a little bit under the weather, and Kohik with a big run out of 2 has to lift. Welch looking to the inside now on the 10. Got alongside, had to lift. Johnson goes up the racetrack a little bit. Better exit on turn 2 for the 10. Jason Blaney continues to lead over Matt Sisler and Chris Goins. That's your top 3. Meanwhile, it looks like Kohik's going to try and battle back and take the 9th position back from Derek Welch. We'll see if he can make that pay off. Welch went from the attacker to the defender awfully quickly. Justin Johnson able to successfully defend that 8th position and put a little gap on the 0-1. Of course, as soon as I say that, Derek closes back down within a car length. Driving it in a little bit deeper than the 10. Justin's backing up his entry and driving it off a little bit sooner. You can see the gap that Justin's able to put between himself and Derek Welch. But on entry, Derek closes that down. Now Justin Johnson closing in on some traffic here. Ken Couch, Nick Kolakowski. These two battling for position as well. Justin Johnson gets to the inside of Nick. He's going to have this position clear, or is he? Nick's up top, a little bit more momentum. Not as great of an arc to worry about, which means you can put your hammer down a little further. Keep that momentum up. Pays off again, but the shortest distance on the bottom, that's helping Justin Johnson as well. So it's kind of a seesaw, teeter-totter back and forth. Got Nate Lyon in the stream chat cheering on Jason Blaney. Nate, thanks for checking in, man. Do appreciate it. Justin Johnson is made up into the 7th position. He's gone by Kolakowski. He's working on Ken Couch, but Derek Welch to the bottom on 22 as well. He's going to go to the inside. Justin Johnson also now to the inside off turn 2 with Ken Couch. Justin trying to work his way towards the front of this field. So Nate Lyon, he's actually spotting for Jason Blaney here. I don't know how you're spotting if you're in the stream chat, my friend. Not that I mind, but... Great battle here from the mid portion of the top 10 on back. Justin Johnson in 6th, Ken Couch, Derek Welch, Nick Kolakowski, Tommy Kohik. The balance of that top 10, they're all grouped up here battling for these positions. Nate Lyon says he's multitasking up there in the spotter stand. I guess it's relatively easy to spot when your guy's leading the race by about 1.5 seconds. Derek Welch all over the back bumper of Justin Johnson once again. Both drivers have successfully worked their way through the three cars of Kulikowski, Couch, and Kohik in no particular order. Welch up top of the racetrack trying to shut the door on the 22. Corey Deal looking to the inside on PJ Cox. Maybe going to do the same here with Matt Sisler for the second spot, but Deal up into P3. Now he switches it up, goes to the high side out of turn 2, building some momentum. Maybe some contact between himself and the 05. Now Corey Deal up into the second spot, clears Matt Sisler here, lap 17 of 125. Jason Blaney still your race leader. Corey Deal still maintaining that second position, but now we've got a battle in behind him between Matt Sisler and Chris Goins. Goins to the bottom of that black and red number 28, the agent.com machine. Matt Sisler topside, the pole sitter, running the number 93 Apex Tech Racing machine. Goins slides up, tries to side draft a bit. Little connection issue for a moment with Matt Sisler. You saw him blink out a lap or two ago, just seeing there again as he works to the outside of Chris Goins. PJ Cox in behind both those drivers on a turn number 2, watching them battle down the back straightaway. Sisler losing connection once again. Gonna have to be careful. Those two can come together very easily with the systems just trying to guess where the 93 should land when he comes back in. It's going to open the door here for PJ Cox. I don't think he's comfortable following these two given the circumstances. He's going to go to the bottom, possibly take 2 spots here, move himself from 5th to 3rd. He does it successfully down into turn 1. Sisler way up the racetrack in that Larson line. A little loose up there right now, but maybe going to pay off here later on in the run. He's going to get a big run down the backstretch, but PJ Cox closes the door. Big block thrown by the 05. Now door-to-door rubbing with the 93 and the 28. They're 3 wide into turn number 3. Goins drives it in deep. Sisler, the better part of valor there, backing out of it. Doesn't want to be the meat in the sandwich. Lets PJ Cox and Chris Goins just go on by. It's too early for that kind of aggression. Patience, the better part of valor. I think I missed a word there. Y'all knew what I meant. Meanwhile, Goins is still fighting with PJ Cox here, but Corey Deal starting to get away. Sisler might have burned off his tires here early on, still having connection issues. You see him in and out quite a bit. %70 max fuel capacity here tonight. It's pretty much been the story all season long. Try to initiate some green flag pit stops. Been pretty successful with it throughout the course of the season. Checking on some other drivers we expect to see a lot out of here this season. Drew Blaze with his big win penalty. Back in the 15th spot, he has made up one position thus far. Remember, he did have to start from pit lane here tonight. Have to go back and double check. It's either started from pit lane or a drive-through on the start, but either way, significant loss of track position as he is far back. Crossing start-finish right now, whereas the race leader is just getting off turn number 2. Drew Blaze, though, with some pretty good lap times here. He's running right up with the top 5 fastest drivers here at the Speedway. Jason Blaney does have one of the fastest times, a 40.94, but PJ Cox presently the fastest car on the racetrack at a 40.89. That's his best lap, not his last lap. Last lap, a 41.6. Pretty consistent with the rest of the top 5. In fact, Jason Blaney a little slower, a 41.81. Corey Deal getting the challenge from Chris Goins for P2 as they work down the backstretch. And look at this. That gap has shrunk considerably from P2 to the lead, even while these guys do some battle here. I don't know if Blaney got into the fence or not, but nevertheless, he lost a lot of that gap that he had built up over P2. It was a second plus, maybe 1.3 at one point. But now the top 3 all under a blanket as Corey Deal's looking to the inside here for the race lead. Down in turns 1 and 2. The number 9 HBR TV machine of Corey Deal. Does he have him clear out of 2? Not quite, not just yet. Blaney might be fighting some handling issues on that number 24. Bit of a wiggle on corner exit. Don't know if he got a piece of the fence. It was close if he didn't. Back at the stripe, still the battle for the lead continuing here. Chris Goins, he's going to make it a 3-car battle, goes to the inside, 2-for-1 special into turn 1, maybe, maybe not, we'll see. Goins the short way around on the bottom. Corey Deal to meet in the sandwich. Jason Blaney topside. He's led the majority of this race thus far, but out of turn number 2, Chris Goins seems to have the better car, but the big run coming on the high side from Jason Blaney. He's got a car in the way, though. It's a lap car. Might be Mark Mitchell, indeed it is. Mitchell drops up to the high side of the racetrack, lets the leaders go on by, but meanwhile, as these top 3 drivers do battle, 4th and 5th, Sisler, PJ Cox both working their way up to be a part of this battle as well. Great racing action here from Auto Club Speedway as it continues at the front of the field. You see all 5 of our top 5 drivers in the frame here at the moment. Still doing battle here, almost 3 wide once again out of turn number 2. Goins on the bottom, Corey Deal in the middle, Jason Blaney up top side. Still 3 wide drag racing down the backstretch into turn number 3. Jason Blaney backs off a little early. Deal drives it in pretty deep. So does Chris Goins. Both of these drivers may have opted to save a little bit of tire early on in this run so that they can push hard like they have been at this stage. Blaney, again, we said it earlier, jumped out to a big advantage early on, and that has evaporated. Corey Deal with the race lead. Chris Goins trying to take P2 away. Not quite clear, or is he? He is. Out of turn 2, it's Deal, Goins, Blaney, Sisler, and PJ Cox, the top 5. Green flag pit stops likely to start happening here pretty soon. Right on board with Jason Blaney as he worked back through the dog leg. Sisler now going to work his way back around the 24 for P3, and PJ Cox is going to follow him through. Blaney slips back to the 5th position. Might have burned up his stuff. Might have been intentional. You don't know. Sometimes these guys want to go out here and hammer on the car, see how much abuse it'll take. With that kind of pace that Blaney has had here throughout the season, it's not always a bad thing. Yeah, you might lose the lead and slip back to P5, but we're not that far into this race. He's got time to make an adjustment, time to work his way back to the front, put the challenge onto these guys. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead now heating up between Corey Deal and Chris Goins. Chris Goins taking a peek to the inside. On to turn number 2, Corey's going to have the run. Corey pinches him down, bottom of the racetrack. Goins is going to have to slide up in behind. Goins back to the bottom. Corey stays topside. It paid off out of turn 2 the last time. Let's see if he can make it work this time. Nose out in front. Over Chris Goins. Corey still has the run down the straightaway into turn 3, but back to the bottom goes the 28 machine. The battle that just won't end. Corey Deal out in front over Chris Goins, less than a car length back to the 28 machine. Again, 33 laps complete here at Auto Club Speedway. Expecting some green flag pit stops here momentarily. Some drivers opting to do it already. Jason Blaney down pit lane. Blaney down and away. 16.5 seconds in the box. Not the greatest of stops. Matt Sisler is in the pits, but with some connection issues. There he is. He's back. Corey Deal stays out on the racetrack. Yeah, Sisler having some problems here. Internet not cooperating with the 93. Started on pole position, but yeah, you just can't stay in. Packet loss becoming a problem here. Hopefully doesn't get kicked from the session because of it, because that can happen. Sisler down and away. Chris Goins now to the point as Corey Deal is in pit lane. Corey Deal with the HBR TV livery on board. Deal Brothers Speed Shop, Nueve Designs. Corey, a recent addition to the Lonestar Racing stables. Corey Deal down and away, 14.6 seconds. A good stop for the 9. Chris Goins now peels off the racetrack here, lap 36. Drops the jack, and Chris Goins is back in the running. Sean Roberts from the race lead, the number 66 Shenandoah Shine Ford Mustang, to make his first stop of the night. Corey Deal looks to cycle back to the P1 here once this pit stop is complete. About a half-second differential between the 9 and the 24 of Jason Blaney. Blaney's fast early on in the run. We'll see if he modifies his strategy as far as how much abuse he wants to put those Goodyear Eagles under. Sean Roberts down and away, 14.92. Not a bad year. Not a great stop. Not a bad one either. Corey Deal goes on by, again cycles himself back to P1. Seemed that the early tire saving strategy is paying off, at least for the time being, for Corey Deal. But I'll tell you, he's got a mirror full of the 24 Jason Blaney, that Ford Mustang. Blaney aggressive from green to checkered. Some guys don't like that. Some guys do. Like to paraphrase Dale Earnhardt, though. Sometimes you make some guys angry, but sometimes you win a lot of races, too. Being aggressive like that. Certainly is the case. Sometimes you need to be aggressive to win these races, but sometimes along the way you ruffle some feathers, make some guys angry at you. All over the back bumper. Chris Goins with some pace. He's to the inside of Jason Blaney. Plenty of eye candy for Corey Deal to watch the 28 battle with the 24, but I don't know, maybe not. Chris Goins has got some pace here. He's going to be challenging the 9 here for the lead in just a second. In fact, here he goes to the inside, down through the dog leg. Blaney went high on the 9. Goins went to the bottom. Blaney gets to the point here, and Sisler now coming into this mess as well. I just got to wonder if Corey Deal is just trying to be as disciplined as humanly possible here, trying to save those tires, not put up too much of a fight, trying to stay out in front here. We're not even halfway. Could just be a calculating driver behind the wheel of that number 9. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead continues. Blaney way up the racetrack. Chris Goins still opting for that low lane. Continue to watch this battle out in front for the top 4, really, and the battle for the lead between Chris Goins and Jason Blaney. We're going to jump out here, get an HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Don't worry, you won't miss a thing except for my lovely voice. It's not that lovely, I just like saying it. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
I met Marco Sgarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
back at Auto Club Speedway for the Lonestar Racing Cup Series. West Side 250s. We continue to watch this battle for the lead between Chris Goins and Jason Blaney. It's gone back and forth countless times. You see Goins go to the bottom here once again in 1 and 2. Short way around. The 24 of Blaney on the top side. It's the longer way around, but man, does he get a run out of turn number 2. Down the backstretch, just powers on by the 28. And there goes the 28. Back down to the bottom. Has to lift a little bit earlier than the 24 as that radius is a little bit tighter on the bottom. Slides up. Nope, not enough room. Not quite clear. Unbelievable racing here at the front of the field. The top 4 all starting to get away from the rest of the pack. They've got a full 5 seconds back to 5th place, PJ Cox. Blaney still manages to work his way back around the high side and take that top spot. Goins tucks back in behind, clear of the 24. He's going to have to change his game plan here. I know he seems to enjoy that bottom lane as he takes a peek low once again. The trouble is, if he tucks in behind the 24 of Blaney there, he's going to dump all that dirty air on the nose of that 28 machine. It's likely to push up the racetrack. And if you follow the Blaney machine into that top lane, if you get tight, you're going to end up in the wall. So I see why Goins keeps going to the bottom, even though he loses on the momentum side of things just about every time. If Chris can get clear, he's going to have to slide up in front of the 24 and then maintain that top lane. But we did see that happen at least once during the break. Blaney was able to dive back to the bottom and complete the pass down low. Goins having some troubles getting that done here. He's done it once, but it's been a back and forth battle ever since. Been caution free since the green flag. 50 laps in. About 14 to 16 laps shy of another round of green flag stops. Again, going to the bottom. I mean, it is still early. I don't see any too much over-aggression out of the driver of that number 28 machine, but he is certainly trying everything he's got to try and get around Jason Blaney and maintain that top spot. Just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. Sisler and Corey Deal sitting there in 3rd and 4th watching this battle. But each time something crazy happens, they get a little bit closer. Sisler sliding up the racetrack, a little loose on exit. Blaney tucks in front of Sisler as Goins now takes the top spot away. Lap car coming into the picture here. He's going to go top side, let the leaders go on by, it appears. Looks like Mark Mitchell could be again. Yes, indeed it is. Let's check on Drew Blaze, though, once again. Running now in 13th, slowly but surely making his way through this field. Again, no benefit of a caution flag just yet. Blaze still mired back mid-pack. In fact, he did a bit of gambling here. Took 2 tires, it appears, on his pit stop, but was only a 12.12 second stop. Can't imagine they got 4 tires bolted on in that amount of time. If it was real-life Cup Series racing, yes, they could certainly do that. Haven't seen that update here in iRacing just yet. Checking on Derek Welch, though. He's battling migraines currently. He's still running in the top 10. Just shy of P5 here. PJ Cox, he's got a mirror full of the 01 NTG Toyota Camry. About 8 laps shy of halfway. Gones still the race leader. Corey Deal now runs in P2. He's taking that position away from Jason Blaney. So kind of more of the same of what we saw during that first run. Blaney was super strong early on. Drivers were saving some tires behind him and eventually reeled him in. But throughout the course of this green flag pit cycle, hasn't been able to run away with it this time. Corey Deal taking a look to the inside for the race lead. Chris Gones maintains it, but man, it is close here. Lap 56. Gones, Corey Deal, Jason Blaney, your top 3. Then it's Matt Sisler, PJ Cox, the top 5. Really impressive, these top 4 drivers able to drive away from the rest of the field the way that they have. They've put 5.7 seconds back on P5, PJ Cox. Hate to tear away from this race lead battle again, but man, Chris Gones and Corey Deal going at it here at Auto Club. Corey Deal all over the back bumper. The 28 drops down to pass, down into turns 1 and 2. Let's see if he's got the momentum even on the low side to get it done. Corey Deal slides up the racetrack. Bit of a slide job out of 2. He's got it done. Let's see if Chris Gones was able to have some momentum or did he lift? Gones back to the bottom here. Going to try and battle back, but not enough. Has to lift. Gotta wonder how much tire did Chris Gones burn up battling with Jason Blaney there early on. Again, not necessary, but I guess you want to try and match yourself up with the fast driver out there. That's one way to do it, is battle, 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 and eventually Chris Gones took away the position. It opened up the door for Corey Deal to take it away from Chris Gones as the 9 now leads at lap 58 out of turn number 2. A lap car in the mix now in between. Gets the fence just a bit, drops it way to the inside to stay out of the way. Lap 59 goes on the board. We're about a handful of laps away from another round of pit stops. Bit of a mix, and in fact we see one coming down now. It's Tommy Kohick. A little bit early, but it's time, it's time. Some drivers came down as early. Drew Blaze specifically came down to lap 29 initially on his first stop. So I almost would expect him down pretty soon. Mark Mitchell was the same, but he's not a lead lap car presently. Jonathan Arnn was lap 31, so maybe let's plan on lap 62 for Arnn. Corey Deal came down at lap 34, so let's say 68 laps for Corey Deal. Chris Gones was 35. He might be able to push it to 70. But again, those things can change. Sometimes the strategy you employ on the first round of stops doesn't necessarily carry over to the next. Maybe adjustments need to be made. Turn 4 once again, Corey Deal with the race lead. Chris Gones just a 1/10 of a second off the back bumper. Meanwhile, Derek Welch jumped up into the 5th spot. Again, for a guy that's not feeling well, a little bit under the weather with the migraines, he's having a good race. It's hard to get out of the race car when you're doing well. If he was running 18th to 19th, I think he'd probably be done by now, but it's tough to give up when you're having a good afternoon. PJ Cox now back into the 7th position after a round of pit stops, or maybe that's just him dropping back, but never mind that. Drew Blaze now down pit lane. Drew's been on a tear as of late, but man, the win penalty that they have to serve here, once you get a couple of wins in, it just makes it harder and harder. And that's kind of the idea. There's a reason behind that. If you've got a guy that's fast, that's capable of winning every single week, you don't want him to win every single week for the sake of the broadcast and honestly the morale of your racing league. It's good to have these win penalties in because you've got drivers of varying skill levels coming in to compete in this series. So kind of opens up the door for everyone to kind of get an opportunity. Doesn't handicap the winning driver all season. Blaze down and away though, 14.62 seconds for Blaze, so that's 4 tires and fuel. Good stop for the one. Matt Sisler pulls it down to pit lane. So we're in the midst of our second round of green flag pit stops. We've had no cautions to speak of throughout the event. We are officially at halfway. Certainly one more pit stop to come. Sisler down and away, 14.87 seconds. Jason Blaney pulls it down to the pit lane for his pit work to be completed here for the second time this afternoon. 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel. Likely the strategy call here as he rolls down into pit lane. Corey Deal still your race leader over Chris Goins. Derek Welch now up in the 3rd spot. Biggest mover on the day so far, up 10 positions. I know we are in the midst of a green flag pit cycle, but nonetheless, still a good afternoon for Derek Welch thus far. Blaney, right side's complete, left side's going on. Drops the jack, 14.9 seconds. Back in the running. Pit stop does cost you a lap here at Auto Club Speedway, so hopefully everybody can get that cycle completed without a caution coming out, because that would certainly throw a screwball in the whole mix. Deal enjoying about a half-second advantage over Chris Goins here as he's going to put lap 67 up on the board. Again, Goins his last pit stop was lap 35, so I would expect him to go at least to lap 70 before we see him come down pit lane. Corey Deal was just 1 lap shy of that, so it could be this time by. Maybe he stays out there another lap or 2 to try and gain a little bit more of an advantage as far as the fuel window is concerned if we get into a green-white checkered here later on. But the way this race has been playing out, we haven't had a yellow as of yet at all, so I don't know if I'd really be too concerned about playing on the green-white checkered strategy here. Of course, it could happen. Things do come up in that respect. We got Harley in the stream chat saying, let's go Blaze. It's going to be a tough one for Drew Blaze tonight. Had to start the race from pit lane or do a drive-through at the start. The win penalty. Blaze running in 13th. Green flag pit stops underway here. Second round of pit stops. No caution flag so far. Looks like Corey's coming to pit lane. On a turn 4, drops it to the apron. The race leader, the number 9 of Corey Deal, in the pits. Gets her woe down, locks up all 4 on entry. Hopefully, you got her woe down. Really is right kind of where we expected to see Corey Deal come down to pit lane. His first stop was a lap 34. Go ahead and double it, put you to lap 68. He did cross the stripe here, so it's officially lap 69. See what the 9 takes, though. Certainly right sides. Again, I cannot imagine he's going to take just 2 here. Crew goes around to the left. And there it is, 4 tires. And Sunoco Race Fuel, Corey Deal drops the jack. He's down and away. 15.12. Not the fastest of stops this afternoon. Chris Goins continuing to lead as Chris Klein, Justin Johnson hit the pit lane. So Chris Goins, as the race leader, putting Corey Deal now a lap down. In fact, he's got everybody except for Sean Roberts down 1 lap. If I'm Chris Goins, I'm yelling out the window, there's debris, there's something going on, there's a car backwards, upside down, on fire. Let's get that caution flag. Certainly make things a lot easier for Chris Goins, but so far, so good. Goins now coming down to pit lane. Everybody's going to start to get their lap back. You see it already, the top 5 already back in the lead lap, getting it back the old-fashioned way. Goins down pit lane here, lap 70. Again, kind of where we expected to see the 28 come down for his second stop of the afternoon. Sean Roberts goes to the point. Chris Goins still maintaining that second spot. In fact, Blaney had just gotten a lap back, so he's going to have to wait for Chris Goins to stop, get his pit work completed, and then probably by about the time that Goins leaves pit lane, you can expect to see Jason Blaney be right there or at least going by the 28 of Chris Goins. Right side tires are changed. Crew goes around to the left side. Sunoco Racing Fuel going in. Another set of left side tires going on the number 28 agentdotson.com Toyota Camry. Drops the jack. He's down and away. Chris Goins pit stop 14.98 seconds. Leaves pit lane still in second, but as we predicted, Jason Blaney goes on by. So does Matt Sisler. Corey Deal just now going around the outside here. So Chris Goins is going to lose a lot of track position here. He's going to slip back to P5 through that late pit stop. Went a long distance. Everybody else had pit before him. That's what we call the undercut. He was able to come down pit lane. Just about everybody in the top 4 ahead of Chris Goins and make their pit stop. Sean Roberts actually has not pit since lap 36, so let's kind of ignore that for now. He still has to make his stop. But the undercut with Blaney, Sisler, and Deal, they came down pit lane before Chris Goins. So they got the fresh tires bolted on, which means faster lap times after that pit stop. They're able to gain the track position while Chris Goins is out on old rubber. Now, things may switch up a little bit here, though, as Chris Goins made that pit stop at lap 70. He's got the newest tires within the top 4, top 5. So as this run progresses, I would expect to see the 28 machines start to reel these guys in and start to contend for that race lead. Again, we still have one more pit stop to be concerned with before this one is over. But certainly some things to keep an eye on as we continue to run under the green flag here at Auto Club. Jason Blaney back to the point here. Matt Sisler running in P2. Remember, Sisler put it on the pole position here tonight. We'll have to see if Blaney has changed up his strategy at all. It's been full send after these pit stops, at least the first 2 rounds. Blaney, not a lot of pressure out the back window, though. It's about a 3/4 second advantage over Matt Sisler. A 1.5 back to Corey Deal. 4 full seconds back to Chris Goins, and 9.2 back to 5th place PJ Cox. With the exception of Sean Roberts, Chris Goins, freshest tires amongst the group. His pit stop came at lap 70. Sean Roberts was 72. Roberts now running in P7. out of turn number 4. Going to put lap 76 up on the board. Leaves us with 50 laps remaining. Certainly another pit stop going to have to come into play here before this one is over. But with that, there's other things that are obligated to happen, and that's an HPR TV side-by-side break. We got to take it. But again, you get to watch the action here in the right-hand corner of the screen as we go to break. So stick around. You won't miss a moment of the action. We'll be back after this.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Auto Club Speedway, Jason Blaney continues to lead. Corey Deal, though, has gone by and taken the second spot. Now closes into the back bumper of the 24 machine. Matt Sisler running in P3. Chris Goins is fourth. PJ Cox still maintaining the fifth position, but 12 seconds back. Corey Deal looking to the inside once again on Jason Blaney. Down through the dogleg into turn number one. Deal with the nose out in front. Does he get clear out of turn number two? He does. Up the racetrack in front of the 24. Big wiggle out of the 9. Keeps his foot in it. Trying to break the draft a bit down the backstretch. Kind of slithering its way down. Now the battle for P3. Matt Sisler now to the inside with Chris Goins up top. Jones maintains that third position. Sisler slides back about 2 to 3 car lengths back from the 28. So the top two starting to stretch it out over third and fourth. All four of these guys still a hefty distance back ahead of fifth place Derek Welch. Welch has recently taken the spot from PJ Cox. Checking in on Drew Blaze once again. He's up into the 11th position. Still a solid 26 seconds behind the race leader here. Still no cautions to speak of. It's been green since the drop of that initial start. 86 laps, no cautions. Really the closest battles on the racetrack between first and second, Deal and Blaney, and then third and fourth, Goins and Sisler. Both of those duos starting to stretch it out from each other. Deal's got a 1.7 second advantage over third place Goins, and actually Goins is starting to stretch it out as well. It's over half a second over Matt Sisler. Quite a bit of distance out the front windshield from Chris Goins up into second place Jason Blaney and then Corey Deal. It's only 1.9 seconds, but man, it looks like a lot more when you sit behind the wheel of that machine. Lap 90 goes on the board, 36 remain, 31 remain, that matters. 31, 36, I don't know. Math isn't my strong suit, folks. I can broadcast, but I cannot crunch numbers. Blaney 9/10 of a second behind race leader Corey Deal. Gonna start seeing some guys hit pit lane. In fact, as soon as I say that, Derek Welch peels off the track. Now, my question is, he peels off from P5 here. Is this a scheduled stop or is he calling it a night? Really hope he's not throwing in the towel. I know he's battling the migraines, and the last thing you want to do with a headache is stare at a computer screen, but sometimes that's the way it goes. He's in the box, has to back it up. He's changing tires, so a scheduled stop for Derek Welch. Small miscue on pit entry as far as getting into the box. 4 tires and fuel. Derek Welch dropping the jack here. He's down and away, back in the action. Expecting to see more drivers follow suit here as they get into their fuel window. 32 to 36 laps, I think, is about the average. So it looks like everybody can make it from here if they stop now. PJ Cox goes on by. Again, Welch going to have the fresher tires, so the lap differential between himself and the 05 certainly going to be a big difference. PJ Cox still needing to make a pit stop, so it looks like Welch could cycle back through to that 5th position once we're all said and done with pit stops. We'll see how it plays out. Tommy Kohick down pit lane. So I guess this really becomes the question as Drew Blaze comes down pit lane for his final stop of the day. Let's see what he can gain. But it really comes down to the question of who is going to pit first. Who is the first to blink here and come down to the pits to make their final stop of the day under green flag conditions. See Jonathan Arndt having to back it up in the pit box. Blaze cleanly into his. Right side's going on. Again, he took 2 tires on that first stop, I believe, but this might be a 4 tire still. Indeed, no, it's 2 tires. Right side's only for Drew Blaze. He's down and away. 13.02 seconds. I don't know if that was really an advantage. To change the right sides, you're looking at a 14.6 second stop. You're only 1.6 seconds longer in the pits. I mean, unless there's really no change in the handling characteristics and the lap times of a 2 tire stop versus 4. We did see that last week where 2 tires got it done. Drew Blaze back in this. Let's see what happens. Again, a caution comes out. I bet he's going to come down and take 4 regardless, and he'll work his way up through the field, but he's going to need that caution. Currently 1 lap down, lap 96. Chris Klein into the pits. Chris Klein with new sponsor with NTG Martin Sports. More tires and fuel for Klein. Jason Blaney now, he's down into the pit lane for his final stop of the day. That's your first blinker, I guess you could call it. Right side's in the air. Let's see what he does. Does he go with 4? Does he opt for 2 like Drew Blaze? It's going to be 4. Blaney down and away, 14.82 seconds. Chris Goins in the pits, so is Matt Sisler. I got to wonder now if this is going to pull Corey Deal down pit lane the next time by. I think that's probably the wise decision if that's the case. Don't stretch it out. Don't force yourself to have to pass other drivers because they undercut you. You've got enough to make it to the finish here. I think if I'm Corey Deal, I'm going to come down, get my tires this time by. Let's see if he does it. He's into turns 3 and 4. Still seems to be at speed. Nope, coming down. Smart thinking for the 9. He's going to be in pit lane here. Not going to fall victim to the undercut. So looking for a clean stop out of the 9 here. No mistakes. Don't speed down pit lane. 4 on, 4 off, or maybe 2 off, 2 on. We'll see what happens. Corey Deal's been pretty stout here this afternoon, as has Jason Blaney, as has Matt Sisler, as has Chris Goins. All these drivers been in contention for this race win here tonight. Right side's changed and completed here on the 9. Crew goes around to the left. It does, going to put 4 on. 4 tires and fuel for Corey Deal. Drops the jack. He's down and away. 14.72 seconds. A good stop for the 9. Jason Blaney into turns 1 and 2. He's going to go by Corey Deal, I believe. Yes, he is. He's seen blinking by there on the bottom. So again, Blaney made his pit stop at lap 96. So he was able to gain some ground on the fresh tires for a couple of laps. Blaney took 4, Corey Deal took 4, but Corey's time in the pits about a 10th faster. His overall pit lane time, however, was about 4 seconds slower than Jason Blaney. Blaney's pit time was 47.70. Corey Deal spent 51.9 seconds in the pits. That is a big difference. 25 laps to go. Race leader Sean Roberts still needs to make his pit stop. He's got a 30-second advantage. It's not going to be enough to cycle him back in a good position, at least as far as the lead is concerned. But given the advantage he has, the pit lane time is roughly 50 seconds. He should cycle through within the top 6, top 5, depending on how well he gets in and out of the pits. And again, if I'm Sean Roberts, I'm not going to wait too long either. I think it's time to come down. You got 25 coming to 24 laps to go. You don't have a whole lot to gain by staying out here and trying to lead some laps. There's not enough left for you to lead enough to get the most laps led, and you're just losing time to those guys that are on the fresh rubber right now. Got 24 or so laps older tires than everybody else. Roberts is going to be way off the pace. His last lap was a 41.69. Jason Blaney ran a 40.81, so we're talking almost a full second he's losing every lap. Can just hear it. The RPM's down on that 66 machine. Just doesn't have the pace to be running full song. He could be saving some fuel as well, but with 23 to go, he's still going to have to stop. You can see he's already lost about 3 seconds of an advantage over the 24 of Blaney. Now maybe he's gambling. You don't know. He could just be trying to cross his fingers here and wait for a caution flag to come out, but whether or not we see it, who knows? Been green all the way, full race distance so far. With 22 to go, we've yet to pull that yellow flag out. Stays out on the racetrack once again. Welch now running in P6. Next car to go a lap down if Robert stays out for much longer. But again, Welch with a little bit newer tires. He came down at lap 90. I can't imagine Roberts is going to reel him in here with 18 lap older rubber. ...21 laps to go here from Auto Club. We're going to jump out here, get our final HBR TV side-by-side break out of the way. Again, stay with us. You won't miss a thing. We got two screens here, one for commercials, one for the race. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Auto Club Speedway, 16 laps remain. Blaney enjoying a 1.4 second advantage over the 9 to Corey Deal. Both drivers have been stout here tonight. Will it come down to just a matter of when driver A or driver B took their final pit stop? It seems to be that way right now, as Blaney is still out in front here, managed to make that pit stop before anybody else within that top four. It's in and out successfully. Again, the biggest difference there is that pit lane time. Blaney was just under 48 seconds. Corey Deal was just under 52 seconds. So there's a pretty big discrepancy there. You look at the gap on the racetrack, it's 1.39 seconds between Blaney and Deal. So the difference between the lead and second, well, you can see it right there in the numbers. That pass was made on pit lane. 15 to go. Blaney's last lap of 41.01. Corey Deal of 41.01. Chris Goins of 41.19. Sisler of 41.08. Fifth place, Sean Roberts, 41.12. About a tenth slower for Blaney that time versus Corey Deal. Taking a look at the lap times here. A little bit faster for Corey Deal, but it's not a lot. He's going to need to average a tenth a lap to catch Jason Blaney in time to really do anything with him. A little wiggle out of the 24 off of 4, though. See how it happens here at lap 112. Deal still faster, but not as much as he should be. Laps ticking down here. There you see our top three: Blaney, Corey Deal, Chris Goins. 12 laps to go. Deal cuts in about a tenth plus this time. Deficit now just about 1 full second with 12 laps to go. Deal's going to get a little bit closer here. He may be starting to pick up a little bit of the draft off the 24. Blaney was faster that time, 18 1/1000ths quicker. That's all he really needs to do. If he just keeps it even, he'll be fine. But in this case, he was quicker, so Deal lost a little bit of ground. It's 1.05 seconds here with 11, 10 and a half laps to go. Deal might have got a piece of the wall out of turn 2. He's got 1.6 seconds back to Chris Goins, so no challenging out the back window. He just can focus on trying to reel in Jason Blaney, but it seems that Jason has found a new gear. Even. Nope, maybe not. Corey Deal across the stripe, 0.003 faster, but again, that's not going to be enough. 10 laps to go here from Auto Club. I don't want to call it too soon here, but it looks like Blaney might be running away now. Deal may have burned up his stuff a little bit early on. It's about a tenth and a half slower that last lap. Deficit now stretching out to 1.3 seconds with less than 9 laps to go. Chris Goins still running in the third spot again. We have yet to have a caution all day. Becoming a trend here in the LSR Cup Series. Clean racing for all. Matt Sisler running back in the 4th position. Sisler unchallenged. There's some lap traffic in behind him, but nobody for position for about 10 seconds. Roberts running in P5, then Derek Welch in 6th. Nick Kolakowski back at 11th, the last car on the lead lap for the time being. Blaney still well in command now. The deficit 1.5 back to Corey Deal. Six laps to go for Jason Blaney. Once again, Blaney a 10.5 quicker than Corey Deal the last time by. Chris Goins having a good afternoon. Started in P5. Has battled for that top 3 spots just about all afternoon, whether it be the lead, P2 or P3 where he currently runs. Sisler started on pole position, had some connection issues early on, but it seemed to overcome that problem. Might have lost some ground through the pit cycle, but still runs solidly in the top 5. Jason Blaney really checking out now. 2.6 seconds with 4 laps to go over Corey Deal. Blaney really on a Sunday drive now. Here coming to 3 laps to go. Almost a 3-second advantage back to the 9 of Deal. 4.2 back to Chris Goins. 6.7 to Sisler. 14.2 seconds back to 5th place, Sean Roberts. Roberts and Chris Goins pit the same lap 97. There's still a couple of seconds between the two of them. Don't expect to see a battle shape up there before this one's out. Sean Roberts, on the other hand, though, newest tires at least, of all the drivers in the field. Pit at lap 105. The next closest, I think, was lap 98, and that was Corey Deal. 2 laps to go here from Auto Club. Blaney out of turn 4, back to the dog leg, looking for the white flag. Final lap here from Auto Club Speedway. Jason Blaney started in P3 here, worked his way to the front quickly. It's been a back and forth battle between himself, Jason Blaney, Corey Deal, Chris Goins for that top spot. It's out of turn number 2, down the back straightaway for the final time. Plenty of distance out the back window to second place, Corey Deal. 4 seconds the advantage for Jason Blaney through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Looking for the checkered flag. Barney's waving it. Race over. Jason Blaney, your race winner. Deal finishes P2. Chris Goins is third. Jason Blaney, your race winner here from Auto Club. Blaney with a violent burnout here on the front stretch. Celebration continuing here on the front stretch. We're going to jump out and get our final break out of the way. Be back with our top three finishers after this. Stay with us.
I met Marco Scarza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Auto Club Speedway, the conclusion of the Westside 250 Lonestar Racing Cup Series. The race is in the books, and Jason Blaney with the checkered flag. Let's get a word with our race winner, the driver of the number 24 new HD machine. Pull him up into the HBR TV booth. Jason Blaney, it's Steve in the HBR TV booth. You got us?
What's going on, Steve?
Talking to you again, my friend. A race win here at Auto Club. It was a good one. It was a good battle between yourself, Corey Deal, Chris Goins, Matt Sisler. You top four drivers kind of went back and forth throughout the course of this race. No cautions to speak of, so it was green flag stops throughout the entire afternoon. Walk us through your race, man.
There's a lot to walk through, man. I didn't really get to have very much practice this week. I've been pretty busy, so tried to utilize practice as much as I could, but honestly, I didn't even know if I was running the right steering ratio, to be completely honest with you. I thought I had something wrong during the beginning of the run. I was fast, but I couldn't figure out how to do the tire management. Feel like with about 9 to go or so on each pit stop, I would start falling off compared to these guys, so I was trying to figure out a way that I was going to be able to manage tires, be able to not hit off sequence with them and still have that jump on pit road. And I feel like just utilizing the maximum amount of time as you can on new tires really helped me. So I pit earlier than Corey and Chris pretty much the whole time. I think a lap or two earlier, which hurt me long run. But at the end, I was really thinking that Corey was gonna stay out a little bit later, like he did the second to last pit stop. And once I saw him come down right after I did, and I had probably the best stop of the race so far on that last pit stop, I knew it was going to be a little bit easier, especially once he was in front of me on that last run before the last pit stop. He just had a line I couldn't figure out, so I feel like being behind him truthfully helped me a lot, figuring out what I was doing wrong. And once I came out with a 2-second lead, it was all right, don't push it too hard, you don't need to run the car like you were the rest of the race. And I guess Corey, just trying to catch up to me, just burned him up a little bit, and that was the light that I needed to cross the checkered flag.
Well, if it's any consolation, looking at the data here, your pit stop was actually a 10th slower than Corey Deal's.
Wow.
But your overall pit lane time was over 4 seconds faster. So you won this race in the pits, my friend. At least getting in and getting out, you gained a ton of time. So there was the differential for sure when it came down to this one.
That's crazy. Thank you for the analytics that puts it all together for me.
Certainly helps, gives you an idea of what you're looking at least for next week. But speaking of next week, we're going out to Atlanta, and it's not the new Atlanta. It's the old abrasive Eats Tires Atlanta. How do you feel about your odds next week?
I don't know, man. Once I think I ran Atlanta once with this next gen car, and then we got the conversion over to the new track. So I don't know. It's gonna be kind of going back to the old, but relearning it like it's new. So it's a toss up for me. I know that I'm gonna have to start from the pits for the rest of the season, so that puts a little bit of a, change the things too. But I go into every race the same way. It's learn as much as you can with the time that you have, and whatever ends up happening happens. But I've had some good runs with it, obviously, and I've had some very less than par runs with it. It's a toss up every week. I'm just fortunate that I have my spotter Nate to be able to help me through. If I don't know something, he can look out of the car and help me.
Well, you better talk to Nate. He was busy chatting us up here in the stream chat instead of spotting, but you were leading, so it's fine.
Yeah, he was telling me about that. He was keeping you busy for sure.
Well, Blaney, again, congratulations on the race win here tonight. Good luck next week at Atlanta. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Everyone at Fueled Up Motorsports. Nate as my spotter each and every week, doing everything outside the car to give us this really fast race car almost every week, and just outstanding. We work really well together, so that's great. Obviously, New HD Media, that's on the car and allows me to run every week and represent a good sponsor, and something that I feel like your viewers should definitely check out. Is a really good radio station. Clark Heating and Cooling, Swift Home Buyers, Admin Box, W Energy, and you in the booth, and everyone that runs Lonestar. They do a great job every week.
All right, Jason. Well, again, thanks for talking to us, man, and wish you the best of luck next week in Atlanta.
Of course, I got one more. Sorry.
Yeah,
WJM Motorsports. That's a lot, but
can't forget Bill. You got to get him in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Blaney, man. Again, good luck, and thanks for chatting.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate it.
It's Jason Blaney, your race winner here at Auto Club Speedway. Next, we're going to go to the 9 of Corey Deal, driver of the HBR TV Toyota Camry. See if Corey Deal has some words for us. Corey, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. How's it going, Steve?
It's going well. Again, Corey, congratulations. Another solid finish here tonight at Auto Club. P2 is where you settle on. Walk us through your race. Was there anything you could have done differently? It really seems that pit lane time might have been the deficit that had to have been made up tonight. But what was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, I know this was going to be a draft race, and I was just trying to lay back most of the runs and save my tires, and then at the very end start making some moves, get up there, lead some laps. I did the auto. I usually go against it, but I did the auto fuel to see what it was like, and I added 2 extra just in case of a green-white record, and I shouldn't have because I knew we were going to go green to the end. But you never know. And I think that kind of might have killed my run. Like, he was 2 seconds out. I couldn't catch him. I burned my stuff up too early, plain and simple. I mean, that's on me, but I really felt like I was going to be P1 or between me and Chris. But hats off to Jason. He really saved his tires that run and just had such a big lead that I couldn't catch him, and I burned him too early. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, don't do it. And I did it. And then I had to hold on to beat Chris. I mean, he was catching me in the closing laps, 5 more, and he probably would have passed me. But it was a good race. I just beating myself up because I feel like I should have been the first guy you talked to, but here I am the second guy. So I mean, I'll still take it. HBR TV on the car, but it just sucks sometimes.
Well, it is what it is, Corey. Still a solid finish here at Auto Club. Just taking a look at things, just a little bit of perspective. Your best lap tonight, 40.70. Jason Blaney was a 40.76. Last lap of the race, he was a 41.93. You're a 42.33, so not the greatest there. But diving deeper into the numbers of things, your pit stop itself, that final stop of the race, was a 10th faster, actually, than Jason Blaney, but it was the overall pit lane time that cost you. He was about 4 seconds to the good by comparison. So he was able to get that jump way out in front. I think if you were closer to him, you could have put that pressure on. It just didn't come to fruition. It is what it is. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, I was going to tell myself to pit on lap 95, but I seen him go. Then I seen Chris and I think Matt go, and I'm like, okay, I need to go this next lap. So that's when I went. But like you said, I feel like I was going way too slow into pit road. I couldn't see it. I race on a single monitor, so I really couldn't see when pit road was coming. So I kind of babied it way too much that last run. And coming out, I feel like I babied it. I could have drove a little bit harder, but it is what it is. No excuses. Just on to the next race and just put my head down and charge at it.
The benefits of a second place finish is there's no wind penalty to worry about for you next week at Old Atlanta. Yes, Old Atlanta, not the Super Speedway version of Atlanta. We're talking about Tire Shredder Atlanta. How do you feel about your chances next week?
I like it. I like Old Atlanta. I mean, I like New Atlanta, but I love Old Atlanta. And it's just like kind of like Homestead. If you don't take care of your tires, you're going to be drifting out of the corner. I mean, it will eat your tires, like you said. But I'm excited. I think it'll be a good race, but I feel like there could be some cautions in the next one. But I think surprise words. Hello, but I think
words are hard.
Yes, I think it'll be a good race. I mean, Auto Club the past couple races have been really good, but Atlanta could be a curveball because of how loose and tight it gets. But I feel like it'll be fun for sure.
Certainly looking forward to it. Next week again, Old Atlanta Motor Speedway, not the new Super Speedway style. Looking to be a fun race next week as the season continues to wind down. Corey, again, congratulations on P2. A job well done. Started second, finished second. You didn't go backwards. I guess that's all you can ask for. But who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to shout out Lonestar Racing, helping me or allowing me to join on midway through the season. They've been a big help. Drew's definitely helped me learn a lot to do with these cars and how to baby them. And shout out to you, the beautiful broadcast, the beautiful sponsor on my car. I appreciate you and everything you've done. And I'm probably going to go back and watch this replay like I always do. But shout out to you and shout out to the fans. Like I said, I'm here for the fans. I'm glad people come out and watch. I'm glad people are here. If it wasn't for y'all, we wouldn't probably do this. But thanks to everybody, and just maybe next time I'll see you again. Hopefully one position up. I said this last time. Let's not jinx myself.
I don't know, a whole bunch of second place finishes from here on out would do you pretty good. But either way, I know you want that checkered flag. We wish you the best of luck at Atlanta, man. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, sir.
It's Corey Deal, your runner-up here at Auto Club. Next in the booth is going to be the driver of the number 28 AgentDotson.com machine. It's going to be Chris Goins, our third place finisher here at Auto Club Speedway. Chris, it's Steve in the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Steve?
Chris, congratulations, man. Another solid top 3 finish here at Auto Club Speedway tonight. You put the challenge on. You were battling for the lead. You were battling for P2. Brought it home in that third position, man. But walk us through your race. Was there anything you could have done differently to change up the strategies, maybe the pace, maybe the line? What was it that would have made the difference to get you further up that running order?
Well, the first part of the race, I was just kind of trying to ride, take it easy, save some tire. I think I was one of the few that was actually running the bottom most of the time, which, to the detriment of losing on the exit of the turns. I think did a pretty good job of saving some tire, but for the most part, I know Corey definitely had me covered, and then Jason had a heck of a last couple stints there. So good on him for being able to put those two together to get there at the end. But no, I'm happy with the third. I mean, with the amount of practice that I've had this week, which was 0, and I didn't have a whole lot of confidence coming in here. I mean, I like the track and all, but it's just a different animal in these cars. Sometimes they're a little sketchy. So.
Well, next week things change up a bit. We're not going to be at a cookie-cutter intermediate like we have at Auto Club. Don't get me wrong, we love Auto Club. We love Michigan. But we're going to the old Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. No super speedway. Talking about chewing up tires. That's been the topic we've been talking about here in the last 2 interviews. How do you feel about your chances in saving some tires and maybe bringing home a win next week?
I've always loved old Atlanta. I really left a bad taste in my mouth when they reconfigured it. I don't like super speedway racing at all as a whole, but definitely on a 1.5-mile track. So I'm glad we're going to old Atlanta. Definitely is going to eat up some tire. That's kind of my hot button is trying to save some tire. So hopefully we can put something together next week and at least give them another run for the top 3, if not fighting for that top spot.
All right, Chris. Well, we certainly do wish you the best of luck next week. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
I want to shout out, well, first, obviously, to my family here, obviously dealing with, putting up with me doing this every week, but I appreciate them for, letting me do this. AgentDotson.com, the Eric Dotson Agency, State Farm, Stivers Automotive Group, Right Turn Racing, Jesse Redding, Chris Elliott, Joe Tucker, those guys, LSR for putting the league on. It's always fun running with these guys, a whole big group of clean racers, so it's always fun to do. And obviously HBR TV and you guys for doing the broadcast. You guys do a heck of a job every week. We appreciate it.
Well, Chris, keep up the good work, man. We wish you the best of luck at Atlanta, and thanks for talking to us.
I appreciate it, Steve. Take care.
It's Chris Cones, your third place finisher here at Auto Club Speedway. That will wrap it up for our interview portion of tonight. Let's take a look at the race results. We talked to our top 3, of course, Jason Blaney, Corey Deal, Chris Cones. 4th place finisher was Matt Sisler with Apex Tech Racing. Shenandoah Shines, Sean Roberts was 5th. Derek Welch made it home all the way to the finish. Didn't think he was going to, battling some migraines. A solid P6 for the 01. Chris Klein was 7th. PJ Cox, P8. Drew Blaze was 9th. Nick Kolakowski, the number 22, finished 10th. Justin Johnson, just shy of matching up his number. Johnson finishes in the 11th spot. Good to have him back here. Ken Couch was 12th. Tommy Kohick was 13th. 14th position went to Jonathan Arnn. Dane Lloyd was 15th. Mark Mitchell, P16. Daryl Larson, Brandon Domain, 17th and 18th. And last but not least, Jonathan Byram, the 054, was 19th. Again, Brandon Domain, Jonathan Byram, they will get credit for 18th and 19th, but they are 125 laps down. They did not take the green flag here tonight, but nonetheless still categorized. But that's your running order. That's your race results here for the West Side 250 Lonestar Racing Cup Series. Make sure you guys tune in next week for the old Atlanta Motor Speedway. You want to see some guys battle handling race cars, or poor handling race cars, and hot tires and tires just wearing out. These guys have got some work to do next week, so make sure you tune in for it. A week from today here, certainly tune in at 7:50 in the East here at HBR TV. Check us out at hbrtv1.com, also on youtube.com/@HBRTV1. Most importantly, hit the like button, guys. That makes a huge difference. I know I say it after every broadcast, but it gets the stream in front of some extra new eyeballs that may or may not have seen it before. It helps us. It helps your league. It's always a bonus. So it's free to do. Hit that like button. We don't charge you to watch these things, so that's all that we ask. Share it. Subscribe, like, follow, all that good stuff. But that's going to wrap it up for us here at Auto Club Speedway. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, congratulating Jason Blaney on the race win here in the West Side 250. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.